I am ready to roll.
All right,
No
let's do it.
question.
Great to
Okay.
meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute after the show. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So, before we got on, we were talking a little bit about the state of the world. And I think one of the biggest things that happened in the last 6 years was this pandemic, and it changed so much about our worlds. How did you get through that era, and how has it changed the way that you work and do things today?
Well, the pandemic certainly was hard. A lot of changes came about, but it's really actually after the pandemic where I really had to start making changes. During the pandemic, two things I did differently, a lot more virtual in-home studio filming, and that was amazing to me because prior to that, I had been only using a studio and I had people set it up for me, right? So when I had to learn how to set up my own studio at home and work the equipment and all that, that was like I needed help with that. I wasn't so great at the beginning. You could tell I needed work, like help with it all. But my videographers actually walked me through it, like, over the phone and this sort of thing. So I eventually got better with that. So that would be one change. The other change that kind of happened out of the pandemic was so Jeanette's TV podcast started out as Jeanette's TV. We were really a TV, internet TV, all over every single solitary platform you can think of. And then I decided in the pandemic to make also a podcast out of it, right? Like take the episodes and make it into a podcast. And so then it became Jeanette's TV and podcast because it was like two separate things.
Yeah.
And then I just decided after that, oh, you know what? This is too complicated to say and remember and put out. So let's just make it Jeanette's TV podcast. But the truth is, it's really two separate things because the podcast has its own platforms like iHeartRadio, Apple, Buzzsprout, BuzzFeed, and it has its own downloads. And the TV part is like an online TV part that's been going for, it's going to be September. It's 16 years I've been doing this.
Wow.
So since I left the studios behind on my own as an independent 16 years. So we always had the TV side first, like all over the social media, any social media you could think of, Jeanette TV was there. And now, like I said, and that's what came out of the pandemic. But what came out lately, like in the last, I'm gonna say 3 years, 3-ish years. So two things. One, I had a freak stupid accident to my right foot, which is the driving foot, and it rendered me with a disability that's permanent because the injury never healed properly, partly because I'm diabetic and partly because, unfortunately, when it first happened, I just thought, oh, no biggie, I'll be okay by tomorrow. But actually, it got worse and worse, and I didn't go to the hospital till like it was 24 hours and a bit before I went to the hospital to have anything done about it. And so the damage is here to stay. So that changed a lot of things for me because when you can't drive, I'm not driving anymore, or if I do drive, it has to be very limited, like around my own neighborhood, like 10 minutes. But even that I haven't done in like almost a year. And man, you lose your freedom when you
Yeah.
don't drive.
Yeah.
That's very hard on my nerves, to be honest with you. It is because also I'm an independent person. And now I have to say to people, can you help me? Or can I go in the car with you if you're going to the same event? Like, I don't want to put anybody out for me, like anything extra. But if they're going the same event or whatever, and they live in the same building or whatever, and then they're going the same, we're in the same neighborhood, as me going to the same, then I'll ask. Otherwise, I have to depend on family for rides. I had to give my car to my sister, and uh I have to get to a subway, which I can get to a subway based on where I'm located. It's a little bit of trek in that I have to take a bus first to get to the subway, or somebody has to drive me to the subway, and then I'll take the subway downtown to Toronto and come back. Um, so also Ubers are not my thing. I will go if somebody else is in the car with me, but I actually got attacked in my car before this thing happened to my foot. It was about 6 months before. I got attacked in my car and coming home one night. And that was a horrific, scary incident, which I honestly thank God I walked away from, because I swear to God, I thought I was going to die that night.
Wow.
And because of that, I don't like going into strangers' cars. If I don't know the person, I won't go in the car because I'm afraid of that. I got that in my mind. So I don't love the Uber thing so much. If I'm like, maybe if there's other people in the car with me, it's better, but to put me in there alone, forget it. I just freak out. So, so those were the changes. And there's one other change that came about. So, my mom, who's quite elderly, um, so we had to move her from my hometown, which is actually on the east side of Ontario, called Belleville, Ontario. It's about a 2-hour drive away from Toronto, where I live more in the Toronto area now. I'm a little bit north of Toronto in a suburb called York Region. Um, so I was going back and forth all the time trying to take care of her, and it was like 2 to 3 hour drive, depending on, if it was a weekend and holiday traffic and that sort of thing. And it was too much, and I had to move her here. So she moved to a condo close to where my sister and I live. And at first she was like not too bad. She could take care of herself. She could cook for herself, whatever. We would just check in on her. But in the last 2 years, no, she's severely declined, and she's had a lot of health problems and in a hospital. Anyway, long story short, she can't be by herself too much. She can't see. She got macular degeneration. She can't cook for herself. She can't really do anything for herself anymore. I mean, she's mobile, but that's it. So she needs like constant care, right? So that became part of my daily routine, as I'm always here taking care of her. And yeah, I have like some government PSWs, personal support workers, come in, but they just come in very quickly. They do their thing and they leave. They don't really stick around too much. And they basically just get her dressed and washed, and one does some exercise. So that left a lot of stuff on the family, on us,
Yeah.
my sister and I, to do. And so it changed everything, because now I have to manage my entire work around her caregiving, and I only hire out like private care when I really, really need it. Like I just went to Montreal for a few days. I had to have somebody here staying, doing what I normally do. Um, but it changed everything, because I used to work a 60 to 80 hour work week, and I had a lot more flexibility. But now it's like I got to put the caregiving first and then fit the work in around that, which that's a hard thing to do during the day. It's like if I didn't have WhatsApp, honestly, I would go crazy, because WhatsApp allows me to like communicate with people and my team, and like not have to text every 2 minutes. I can voice clip. And so, like when I say I have 20 to 25 hours a week to work now, that means like for everything: filming, editing, team meetings, networking. If I have to go off site for red carpet or whatever event, um, everything, like everything has to fit into 20 to 25 hours. And that is a difficult thing. So here's what happens. I do what I can during the day around this incredibly busy schedule. Like, honestly, it's like Grand Central Station here from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single day. I got 3 PSWs coming every other day. There's like a nurse coming, a doctor coming. This all has to be managed. Her offsite appointments have to be managed. Her banking, all her finance have to be managed. Her medication has to be managed. Her meals have to be managed. Clean up, laundry, like you name it. It's all got to be done. So, what I try to do is fit the work in that I can throughout the day. Usually, because the technology allows me to do this. But then when she's finally in bed for the night after the last PSW leaves, and dinner's all cleaned up and everything, and I set up for breakfast the day before. Like I'm always ahead of the game, so that I don't have to spend the whole day cooking, type of thing. So I get up at 7. I get her the last bit of her breakfast made, then I come and get her and I feed her before the PSW arrives. And the first one, the morning one. And then like after 7 at night, if I'm not off site to an event or whatever, that's when I sort of like use the 7 p.m. to like 2 a.m. ish for me to get to focus on getting that last bit of work or editing or whatever I need to get done. And so my sleep is not great. I hardly sleep at all. And that's been like one of the biggest changes. And again, a lot more virtual filming than ever before. Because, I can't just walk out the door. It's not like I can't make plans and walk out the door just like that. Everything has to be pre-planned and pre-done and made sure that it's prepared and like that, her food is there. If I'm not here to serve it to her, who's serving it?
Right, right.
Her food is in the fridge, made. It has to be warm. Her pills have to be like there's all these considerations, right? And I can't just freely walk out the door anymore. It's like I say it like this. I feel like I became a mother to my mother, but I never really asked for or expected that role. I never thought I would be in this kind of position, but life happened, right? And this is what's happened, so I have to deal with it basically. So it befell on us. And my mother's very difficult. She's not reasonable at all. Okay. Like she wants it her way and that's it. Like I've asked her a million times, please, can you go in a home? Like I had it all arranged a year ago for her to go into a home. The minute she was supposed to go, the day up, oh, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm like, oh God, she won't go. She won't go to the home. She tells us, oh, you put me in a home. I'm just going to sit there. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to do the activities. And it's really super expensive. And it's like, what do you mean? Anyway, so she doesn't want that. And she won't go. So, and to get her into a long-term care home, which is different than a retirement home, the it's a lot of red tape and the wait list is endless. So she's not going to get in there probably in the span of her life. So, so that's what I say when life hands you lemonades. I sorry, when life hands you lemons, you got to make lemonade. And
Hmm.
this is this is what's become of it for me in the last 3.5 years. And it's a lot. It's been
Yeah.
very challenging, but I'm making it work. And not everything's perfect, but I do it, and I at least, thank God, get to keep doing what I love, which is, I'm a media person. I love interviewing. I love talking to people. I love hearing other people's stories. I like impacting savvy women over 40, who I really cater to, because everything I do and everything I talk about and all my content, even the entertainment side of things, is very geared towards what they go through, the issues they deal with, or their needs in some capacity, whether it's from a lifestyle perspective or an entertainment perspective. And so I've been very focused on that. And, I like to cater to that and feel like the content I'm producing is actually making a difference in these people's lives or having an impact. And so that to me is like everything. And people say to me, why don't you just give it up? Why don't you forget about the being in the media, forget about filming, forget about no. If I have to forget about all that, just shoot me now, because I love what I do. And if you take, like, I mean, honestly, so many other things have been taken away from me. Take that away from me, and like that's it. Game over for me. I would have absolutely nothing to look forward to in the day, whatever. And I've already been kind of hard hit because unfortunately, um, the minute I became disabled and I, had to go from originally, I had this big, ugly boot on and I had to use a walker. But since then, I progressed to just using a cane. But even that has taken me away from red carpets and big name events that I previously was always accredited for, and now I can't go. And that hurts like hell. I want you to know that it does, because I gave years to these people, years. And I always went prepared and I always did a good job, and I never took it lightly. I always, was very well like honored, and I never took the protocols lightly or any of that stuff. I went to do my job and I did it well. And not being a part of it and not being around some of my media peers for a prolonged period of time now, around 3 years or so, has been absolutely crushing to me and my spirit. But I didn't let it stop me from continuing in a different way. I do what I'm resourceful and I am resilient, as many savvy women over 40 are. And, I've been through a lot of transition, as many savvy women over 40 have. And I found some ways, not always, some ways to pick up my socks and move forward. And I'm doing things, but I'm not doing everything that I would like to be doing. There's still a large piece that's missing. And when I say missing, I mean missing. And I had to get sort of inventive and a little bit of trial and error and figure out, okay, so how am I going to move forward? Right. And it was tough. So one thing is that being in Canada, there is a limited amount of celebrity oriented red carpet events that are high caliber, right? There's maybe a handful and that's it, right? So if I can't go to those anymore, like the doors are closed to me, then I'm very limited in what I can do in Canada because those are the only available events. As a result, I've had to go in to find American events, of which there are far more. And I've had some success there, thank God. I've also gone to some foreign events. A lot of it's been virtual, which it's okay. Don't get me wrong, virtual is okay. But when you're not on a red carpet in front of a celebrity face to face, it's the virtual it's not exactly the same, right? There's nothing like being on a red carpet with somebody in front of you. Or sitting down for an interview, the same, like having the person there. I feel a loss there. And I had to change my entire business model entirely. Like I could not sustain what I had previously been doing because I used to have a staff of 12. Now I only have two full-time people, and they're both basically like independent, not on salary employees. And then I have two revolving videographers, right? But I used to have so much more. And, you know, I was working 68 hours a week. It's a completely different business model. I basically went from build your own media empire because that's what it was. I mean, I started out with nothing, right? I left the studios behind many years ago. It's going to be 16 years. And when I left, I had 750 people following me on Facebook, right? That's all. Because when you're with the studios, you cannot do anything for yourself. You have to do everything for the studio. That's all I had. One platform, 750 people. Well, flash forward almost 16 years, I'm on every single platform you can think of. And I have a combined audience, and I want to stress the word combined, between YouTube and all my other platforms of now 15.2 million savvy women over 40. And it's all over the world. We have the breakdown of components like by city, by country, it's all, I've got the demographics. And we definitely have a lot of North American people following me, Canada. And then we have like England and UK and Australia, New Zealand. We have parts of Europe, parts of the Middle East. So to me, that's great. People who tune in to hear what I have to say from all over the world. That means I must be doing something right because
Sure.
I'm giving them information. I'm giving them a community. I'm giving them something back that is helping them to lead a better life or a more fulfilled life. And that's what my mission is. As long as I'm doing that, I feel like I have a reason and to continue and be fulfilled and all that. But monetizing it's a whole other game. If you've ever had, you have a podcast, it's a whole other ball game. And that I had to figure out too with packaging and and a business model that's completely different now that's got to work. And my business model went from build a media empire like Oprah to I don't think that's going to work anymore because I have to do like caregiving and everything else. So I guess I'll have to peel it back. And I'm a very overachiever type of girl. I've always been that way. And I had two university degrees by the time I was 21 years old and a business. I started out in the PR side of things and went from behind the camera to in front of the camera. But like, I've never been like I've always been actively into something since I was quite young. You're at 8 years old, I started selling in my father's clothing store. He had a menswear store. So I'm just used to being like in business, active, a busy person, having a lot of things, a lot of fingers in the pie, a lot of things going on. I can't sit still for a minute. I really can't. I gotta be busy all the time. And and I'm used to having like a really active social life, which that's come down a lot because of the situation. And I'm used to like being a shaker and a mover and on the go and going to all these great events and traveling and that sort of thing. And that's come down a lot because I can't go out every night of the week anymore, right? So yeah, so no more I'm building a media empire. It's more like here I am, here's what I've done in the last 20 plus years. Um, the 700 plus interviews I've had with celebrities, the audience I built from scratch after leaving the studios, the risks I took taking on starting as an independent production house, Janette Burke Production, and then producing my show, the branding, the market, everything I've done, the monetization, and just like the accomplishments are still part of me. They're part of my arsenal. And now I'm just selling that as me. Like, the main offer is Janette for hire. And I'm available for like to work with other media companies and be paid to interview or red carpet host or event host, MC speaker, corporate moderator, corporate interviewer, um, women's conferences, other conferences, that type of thing, a brand spokesperson. Now, you probably think, well, gee, that's a lot, but it's actually, no, it's all part and parcel of the same thing. And so that's what I'm mainly doing now,
Yeah.
mainly. And then I have another offer called Featured Expert Interview Series, where, we enter like it's a series, it's a package I sell. And that one is basically for CEOs or small business people or book authors, to take that package. And then I work with you extensively to bring it to life. And I even give you a little bit of on-camera training. I work with you a little bit on what you're going to say, how you're going to look for the camera, that whole thing. And then I interview you and then we promote the hell out of it for you. When I say we, I mean my team and I. It's like an extensive promotion. So that's what I'm doing now. And I have a brand new website that we just launched. And we have also something there for free, which I wish to share with your audience. So we have a publication as well. Like I have a publication side. So there's the TV show, there's the podcast, they're kind of synonymous. And then there's the e-publication, which is called Savvy by Janette's TV podcast. And it's free and it comes out about once a month. And you just have to go to my website, which is www.janetteburke.com. And I'll just spell that in case people. Okay, so it's Janette is Janette. It's American spelling, Janette, Janette Burke, BURKE.com. If you go there, right at the top, it says subscribe. You can subscribe to Savvy by Janette's TV podcast, and you will get it once a month. And here's what you'll get. You'll get some incredible content, and it's lifestyle and entertainment. So you'll get like one main sort of entertainment, celebrity oriented, or something in the entertainment field episode under Janette's TV podcast main. And then you'll get the spin-off segments. So one segment is called Janette's Tips in Sips. And this is sort of like a conversation I have with my 15.2 million besties all around the world once a week. And we talk like must-have products, lifestyle hacks, lifestyle tips. That's all under that Janette's Tips and Sips. Then you'll see another segment called Janette's Take On. And this is my answer to hot topics. So it's my perspective on world events, celebrity news, celebrity gossip, political events, that sort of thing. So if you're interested in my perspective on things, because, obviously I have something to say, that would be under that segment. Then we have another segment called Janette Behind the Scenes. And in this segment, I invite you into my world. I make it very up close and personal. I share what I'm going through, things that I'm doing, things that might be of interest to you, as well as if I'm going to a red carpet, how I get ready for that red carpet. Then I have another segment called, it's called Cooking with Janette. And it is like a cooking segment, but it's not a typical cooking segment or cooking show. Basically, I had to start cooking again because I'm cooking for my mom and I give her like 3 gourmet meals a day. So years ago, I used to cook all the time. Even in university, I used to have like people over all the time and cook. And then I stopped cooking for like 20 some odd years. I hardly cooked a thing because I was a busy mediapreneur trying to build up a media empire and I didn't have time for it. But now I cook again. I brought it back. So in Cooking with Janette, it's basically I just invite you into the kitchen and you cook with me. And it's really about connection because, women connect through cooking and through being in the kitchen. When you have visitors come over or family, how the women all do is conjugate sort of in the kitchen and the guys go watch the game or something like that. So we do it for that reason. We also do it like to connect people and their cultures and their food. And maybe also like an emotional outlet release because cooking is very therapeutic. But also I cook very low fat because I'm on Ozempic and I follow a very restricted low carb diet. So I make those kind of recipes. And then there's one other thing. I'm sharing all of you with me, including my own cultural background. So I happen to be of the Jewish faith and the kitchen is a kosher kitchen. And that means I have to do everything kosher, but I'm also doing like other ethnicities kosher. Like I made Indian food kosher. I made Greek food kosher. Like I don't leave anybody out. I want everybody to feel inclusive in this particular segment. Right. So this is what I'm doing. And so like now you're getting a little bit of health, wealth, lifestyle, beauty, makeup, clothing tips. Like I'm giving everything between all those segments. And that's what you'll get when you sign up for Savvy, which is free once a month, www.janetteburke.com. You'll also get something else. When we have our amazing giveaways, you're going to see that too. And you can sign up to win some very amazing giveaways. I've had some incredible things from trips to like theater tickets, circus tickets, like, good stuff, that kind of stuff. I don't do it always, but when I do something good. And that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I don't want the time to run out. And you're obviously a pro. You've run with this really well. So I'm going to put links in the show notes based on everything that you gave me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Best of luck. Send my love to Canada. We're sending a lot of love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I will always love the States.
Yes.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.